Most people talk too much. They speak without thinking. They react without understanding. They fill every moment with noise because silence makes them uncomfortable. Silence forces you to face yourself, your thoughts, your fears, your doubts. And most people are not ready for that. So they avoid it. They distract themselves with conversations, with social media, with constant stimulation. Anything to escape silence. But what they don't realize is silence is not emptiness. Silence is power. Because in silence, you begin to see clearly. You notice things others miss. You observe. You analyze. You understand. While others are speaking, you are learning. While others are reacting, you are thinking. This gives you an advantage. A quiet advantage. One that does not need to be shown. Because true power does not announce itself. It remains silent. Think about it. The strongest people in a room are usually the ones who speak the least. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they choose when to speak. They do not waste words. They do not seek attention. They do not try to impress others. They observe first. And when they finally speak, their words carry weight. Because they are not speaking to fill silence. They are speaking with purpose. This is what makes silence powerful. It teaches control. Control over your words. Control over your emotions. Control over your reactions. Most people react instantly. They get angry quickly. They respond without thinking. They say things they later regret because they cannot stay silent. They feel the need to respond. But silence breaks this pattern. It creates a gap between what happens and how you respond. And in that gap, you gain control. Instead of reacting, you choose. Instead of speaking, you think. Instead of losing control, you remain calm. This is not weakness. This is strength. Because staying silent when you feel like reacting requires discipline. It requires awareness. It requires control over your mind. And most people do not have that. They are controlled by their emotions. But when you learn to stay silent, you stop being controlled. You become the one in control. This changes how you handle situations, conflicts, stress, pressure. While others lose control, you remain steady. And that steadiness is powerful because it makes you unpredictable. People cannot easily read you. They cannot easily manipulate you because you do not reveal everything. You do not react immediately. You do not give away your thoughts. And this creates respect. Not forced respect, but natural respect. Because people recognize control, even if they don't understand it. They feel it, and they respond to it. Silence also protects your energy. Every conversation takes energy. Every argument drains you. Every unnecessary discussion pulls your focus away. But when you stay silent, you conserve that energy. You keep it for things that matter. Your goals, your work, your growth. Instead of wasting time talking, you use that time to improve. And over time, this creates a gap between you and everyone else. While they are distracted, you are focused. While they are talking, You are building. While they are reacting, you are growing. This is why quiet people often move ahead. Not because they are louder, but because they are more focused, more controlled, more aware. Silence gives you that edge, but only if you use it correctly. Because silence is not just about not speaking. It is about being aware, being present, being in control. And that is something very few people truly understand.
Silence is not just about staying quiet. It is about understanding when not to speak. Because not every situation needs your opinion. Not every argument deserves your response. And not every person deserves your attention. Most people don't realize this. They feel the need to respond to everything. Every comment, every criticism, every opinion. As if their value depends on being heard. But true confidence works differently. Confident people do not feel the need to prove themselves. They do not argue unnecessarily. They do not try to win every conversation. Because they understand something important. Not every battle is worth fighting. And silence is often the smartest response. When someone tries to provoke you, silence is strength. When someone misunderstands you, silence is control. When someone criticizes you, silence is maturity. Because reacting emotionally only gives others power over you. But when you stay silent, you take that power back. You refuse to be controlled. You refuse to be pulled into unnecessary situations. And that is a form of dominance. A quiet dominance. One that does not need to be shown. Because the strongest position is the one that does not react. Think about this. If someone insults you and you immediately react, what happens? They control your emotions. They decide how you feel. They trigger your response. But if you stay silent, what happens? They lose that control. They lose that power. Because you did not react. You did not give them what they wanted. And that changes the entire dynamic. Silence shifts power. From them to you. This is why silence is so effective in difficult situations. It removes unnecessary conflict. It prevents escalation. And it keeps your mind clear. Because when you react emotionally, your thinking becomes clouded. You say things without thinking. You make decisions based on feelings, not logic. And that often leads to regret. But silence protects you from that. It gives you time. Time to think. Time to understand. Time to choose the right response. And sometimes, the right response is no response at all. That is something very few people accept. They believe silence means weakness. They believe if you don't respond, you are losing. But that is not true. Silence is not losing. Silence is choosing peace over chaos. It is choosing control over reaction. It is choosing intelligence over impulse. And that is a powerful decision. Silence also helps you understand people better. When you speak less, you listen more. And when you listen more, you learn more. You notice tone, you notice behavior, you notice intention. Things that most people miss because they are too busy talking. But when you observe quietly, you start seeing patterns. You understand who is genuine, who is fake, who can be trusted, and who cannot. This awareness protects you. It helps you make better decisions, better choices about people, better choices about situations. Because you are not reacting blindly. You are observing carefully. And this gives you clarity. Clarity that most people never develop. Because they never slow down. They never stay silent long enough to truly understand. Silence slows everything down. It creates space. Space to think. Space to reflect. Space to grow.
And in that space, you become stronger. Stronger mentally, stronger emotionally, stronger in control. Because you are no longer reacting to everything around you. You are choosing what deserves your energy and what does not. This is what separates ordinary people from disciplined individuals. Ordinary people react. Disciplined people choose. And that choice comes from silence. Because silence trains your mind. It teaches patience. It teaches awareness. It teaches control. And once you develop these, everything in your life improves. Your decisions become better. Your focus becomes sharper. Your reactions become calmer. And your presence becomes stronger. Not loud, but powerful. Because real power does not need noise. It exists quietly, and it shows itself through control.
At a deeper level, silence does something most people don't expect. It changes your presence, not your appearance, not your voice, but the way people feel around you. Because when you are silent and fully in control, you create a different kind of energy. An energy that is calm, stable, unshaken. And people notice this, even if they don't understand it. They feel it. They sense it. Because most people are not like this. Most people are restless. They move quickly. They speak quickly. They react quickly. There is no stillness in them. But when someone is calm, still, and silent, it stands out. It creates contrast. And contrast attracts attention. Not loud attention, but quiet awareness. People start observing you. They start wondering, what makes you different? And that curiosity creates respect. Not forced respect, not demanded respect, but natural respect. Because control is rare, and anything rare is valued. This is why silence increases your presence. You do not need to speak much. You do not need to prove yourself. Your behavior speaks for you. Your calmness speaks for you. Your control speaks for you. And that is far more powerful than words. Words can be ignored, but presence is felt. And when your presence is strong, people take you seriously. They listen more carefully. They think twice before speaking around you. Not because they are afraid, but because they recognize something. They recognize that you are not easily influenced. You are not easily distracted. You are not easily controlled. And that creates a certain level of distance, a respectful distance. This is what many people call aura, not something mystical, but something built through behavior, through silence, through discipline, through control. It is the result of how you carry yourself, how you respond, how you handle situations. Because people are always observing, even when you think they are not. They notice your reactions. They notice your words. They notice your behavior. And from that, they form an impression. If you react to everything, they see you as unstable. If you speak too much, they see you as unfocused. If you seek attention, they see you as dependent. But if you stay calm, if you speak with purpose, if you remain silent when needed, they see strength. And that perception matters, because perception shapes how people treat you. It shapes how they respond to you. It shapes the opportunities you get. This is why silence is not just personal. It affects your external life too. Your relationships, your work, your environment. Because when you are controlled, you handle situations differently. You avoid unnecessary conflict. You avoid useless arguments. You focus on what matters. And that changes your results.
People trust you more. They respect your decisions. They value your words because you do not speak unnecessarily. You do not act impulsively. You think. You observe. You choose. And that makes you reliable. Reliability builds trust. And trust builds influence. Not loud influence, but quiet influence. The kind that does not need to be forced. The kind that grows naturally. Because people see your consistency. They see your control. They see your discipline. And they respond to it. This is something most people try to fake. They try to appear confident. They try to appear strong. But without control, it does not last. Because real strength cannot be faked. It is built. Built through silence, through patience, through awareness, and through time. This is why quiet people often appear powerful. Not because they say more, but because they need to say less. And when they do speak, it matters. It has weight. It has purpose. It has clarity. Because it comes from thought, not impulse. And that is rare. Very rare. So if you want to build a strong presence, you do not need to become louder. You need to become quieter, more aware, more controlled, more intentional. Because in a world full of noise, the person who is silent stands out the most.
In the end, silence is not something you are born with. It is something you build, step by step, choice by choice. Every time you choose not to react, you build control. Every time you choose to observe, instead of speak, you build awareness. Every time you pause, instead of rushing into words, you build discipline. And slowly, these small choices start changing you. Not on the surface, but from within. You become calmer, more stable, less affected by what happens around you. Things that once triggered you no longer have the same impact. You do not feel the need to respond to everything. You do not feel the need to prove yourself. You become comfortable with silence. And that comfort is powerful. Because once you are comfortable in silence, you are no longer controlled by noise. You are no longer dependent on others. You do not need constant conversation. You do not need constant validation. You are enough on your own. And that is freedom. Freedom from unnecessary influence. Freedom from emotional reactions. Freedom from distraction. This is what silence gives you. Not emptiness, but clarity. Not isolation, but understanding. Not weakness, but strength. Because when you remove noise, you begin to see what truly matters. Your priorities become clear. Your decisions become better. Your actions become more focused. And your life becomes more intentional. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop engaging in useless arguments. You stop reacting to things that have no value. And instead, you invest your time and energy into what truly matters. Your growth, your goals, your future. This is the transformation. From a reactive person to a controlled one. From a distracted mind to a focused mind. From noise to clarity. And it all begins with silence. But this path is not easy, because the world around you is designed to keep you distracted. Constant notifications, constant opinions, constant noise. Everything is pulling your attention, trying to keep you reactive, trying to keep you distracted. So choosing silence
is not common. It is a decision, a conscious decision to step away from noise, to step away from distraction, to step into awareness. And that decision sets you apart. Because while others are lost in noise, you are finding clarity. While others are reacting, you are thinking. While others are distracted, you are focused. And over time, this difference grows. It becomes visible in your results, in your behavior, in your life. People will notice it. They may not understand it, but they will see it. They will see the calmness, the control, the focus, and that will make you different. Not better than others, but stronger within yourself. And that is what truly matters. Because in the end, life is not about how loud you are. It's about how controlled you are, how aware you are, how focused you are. And silence helps you build all of that. So the next time you feel the urge to react, pause, stay silent, observe, think. Because in that moment of silence, you are not losing, you are gaining control. And that control is what will shape your future. Because the person who can control their words can control their actions. And the person who can control their actions can control their life.